Okay. How's the old house?
I still have to drive there.
He's in a ganja plantation. Check him out.
Yeah, man.
So guys, we're gonna go live really soon, so all you know.
Well, we're gonna know because everyone's gonna be clapping outside at 8.
Wait up. Do I have to record it in vertical or?
Record it normal landscape.
If you want to put it on Wehbba and do it vertical, yeah.
In Wehbba, eh?
In the Wehbba.
Yeah, if you can, you can record with Zoom.
But I mean, it's landscape is gonna be available next week, so you can record landscape. I think anyway.
Do it landscape, dude.
Wait, I'm just getting really
into it.
Okay.
Webster. Eagle's trying to find a good position.
That looks good.
What are you doing here? He's driving.
Eagle's gone up the tree. Oh, lovely.
Going up Mallorca, man.
You're making me sick, mate. Stop moving. I'm going to vomit. It's like this.
I'm being spiritual.
Just being spiritual.
All I need is a tree behind me, and I look spiritual.
Happy started. It's got to be 8 o'clock.
I've started meditating in this pandemic, and I've found myself, and I've changed.
Oh.
So should I start? Can I start?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're live on YouTube already.
Good. We're live on Facebook as well.
Oh my God, we're live.
I better not say.
Or maybe we're dead.
Maybe.
You're not allowed to swear, Igor. Don't say.
Can I say fudge?
Fudge, yeah, fudge is absolutely fine.
It's just a simulation. God, we're live. We're in the Matrix.
So, guys, how's it going?
Hey, yes.
Welcome to our techno talk.
Hello, everyone.
It's a pleasure to have you guys on board.
Likewise, mate. Be here with you.
What are we on a boat or something, or board of a boat, or?
Yeah.
Yes, the love boat.
The techno boat.
The love boat.
Hey, not techno boat.
Hey.
And it's Captain.
Wait,
Marty has the audio.
The Chihuahua's coming, but
Webba's the captain. Captain Wehbba. He's in the steering room.
Yes.
Of the boat, of the techno boat.
He's flying the Moog.
Alex is in the engine room.
I'm in the engine room. Yeah, I'm all greased up and fucked up.
Alex, you're quite shining, actually. I gotta say, I reckon you are in the engine room, mate.
Am I?
Yeah, you're a bit shiny.
I'm in the yoga room.
Oh yeah, I am, dude. Yeah.
I'm sure I'm pretty shiny as well.
Yeah, I am. The grease is real.
I'm in the deck, actually.
I'm at the pet shop.
That was a good one.
Well, no, you're taking care. You're in the doghouse.
Yeah, doghouse, exactly.
So, guys, what's happening, mate? How's it going out there in Corona land?
Hey, look, it's
wow. It's going pretty well. No, like we're all unemployed right now, so it could be worse.
Listen, it could be worse.
Have you paid your tour managers?
Ha! Boom!
Let's
Oh,
look
sorry.
at
Tour managers.
Seriously, let's
So we don't have to pay shit.
You're not allowed to swear, Igor.
Sorry, what? Poo. We don't have to poo.
You're not allowed to show paintings like that.
Oh, fuck off, dude.
All right. So, what's going on?
How are you guys coping? Where are you guys right now? Pig&Dan.
I'm in Yorka.
In the marijuana plantation.
Yeah, it's unfortunately I can't cut these till about September. It's a pain in the ass though to cut those fucking plants. I hate it.
What are you planting there, man?
Enough. No, I don't have plants anymore. I used to grow plants, but when I found out that I had to trim the trimming process, I did not really enjoy that. So I kind of, that was the end of that.
That is
Sticky
interesting.
fingers.
Fair enough.
Sticky fingers. Yes. How about you,
And you,
Dan?
Dan, how's it going with the merry-go-round?
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, at first it was all a bit weird, and I found it hard to adjust to the whole situation, purely because it was, I don't know, it just, I found it all a bit surreal, the whole madness of what was going on, and sort of, you know, I was clucking to be out on the road with Pigster and playing tunes to people and uniting and having fun. But after a while, you're kind of like, wow, it's not bad being at home and you know, doing things around the garden that you never did and clearing out shit that you never did. I said shit, sorry. You know,
I don't give a
I
fuck.
find it. Well, it's just.
Well, we
found
swear, Dan. What the hell? I mean, I'm not, you know. They're adults. I don't think 8-year-olds are gonna be watching this crap.
No,
anymore,
probably
so.
not. I think so, a little bit
Oh,
swearing
wait,
is
Hope
allowed.
not.
Okay. So I found it all very strange at first, but actually, eventually, I found that I was able to focus on things that I haven't had time to focus on for 30 years. You know, so it's a big wake up call, isn't it? Some of the priorities
Oh, yeah.
have changed, man. You know, like your background just did,
Yeah.
Victor.
Priorities changed like that, just like his background did. It's
Oh
crazy.
wow, you're in the Matrix, Victor.
Yes, he controls it.
holodeck.
He's Neo.
the
Look at his
holodeck.
head. He just came out of the Matrix.
Webber's got an even better one. There's me, look.
Yeah, that's good.
Almost.
Almost.
His cock's bigger though.
Probably.
And are you guys? I mean, are you guys? I mean, you just released 2 amazing EPs on Drum Code, which I love. I guess I can speak for all of us. But
No,
I mean,
speak
how
for
you guys?
yourself. No,
I
I'm
mean,
joking, I'm joking.
you guys probably
Yeah, it's crap. Victor thinks it's crap.
Yeah, I know. We were just talking
like
about it in the
Victor's EP.
backstage actually. But
Victor's EP on drum code's terrible.
you guys do a lot of music back and forth, right? I mean, have you been making music? I mean, nothing really changes there because you don't. I mean, do you guys spend a lot of time together in the studio, or is it more a back and forth process nowadays?
Probably now it's more back and forth. I mean, the thing is, we were getting together. We were writing music together when we were on planes.
Yeah.
And then when we get home, each one has his own studio, and we've worked together so many years that I've got a little Dan here, good and what's not, and Dan has a little Pig, telling him what he doesn't like and what he likes. So it's just we just work away. We just kind of flow, and then we talk about what's going on, and we say what we like and what we don't like and what we think we should do, and it just happens. Shit happens, you know.
That's
But
amazing.
the cool thing about it also is if one of us is not inspired, the other one sort of does something that just triggers off a massive inspiration for the other one. You know,
It's like it's like a healthy competitiveness, no? Like,
definitely.
oh, Dan made an amazing part, so now I'm gonna make something even better. And then, fuck, that's amazing. I'm gonna do something even better, and it's just never ending, you know.
You kind of feel like you have to step up to the other person's game, to your partner's game in that
Well,
case.
we're not we're not conformist people. We're both kind of perfectionist, and I wouldn't say perfectionist, but we want to, especially with the whole music process, and we really make music that we want to play, like.
True.
So that's kind of the way we keep our standard is because if we don't play a track out, then it's not good enough, you know. And after how many years have we been in the industry? I mean, I've been DJing since I'm 18 and I'm 43. Fuck, I'm old.
Too.
So, after 25 years of listening to music and vinyl and techno and house and cycles, because, music goes in cycles, and we've already gone through 3 or 4 cycles. And in the end, it's like fashion. It's like anything else. Everything kind of repeats itself. I love that saying that Ricardo said, that, everything's a remix of everything. And it's the same. It's very hard to make original stuff or original melodies, or because there's always, how many times have you heard I've heard the same riff in different tracks millions of times
Yeah.
or many times. So in the end, it's the way you kind of season. Like I like to compare it to cooking, making music to cooking, because you get a lot of the ingredients and then you put them together in a bowl and you cook them, and then you kind of season them with different filters and reverbs and effects, and that's how you get your final product. And that's what makes the difference of a producer, a produce that someone that has that personal sound, is the way they treat those sounds. Because anybody can sample a stab or a Detroit stab, but it's how you make that 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 voice or that stab sound that makes you, or how you arrange those beats, that peculiarity. Like when I hear an Anna track or a Wehbba track, I know that it's Anna or Wehbba, or a Victor Ruiz track, or a Mark Reeve track, or a Macioplex track. You know, there's always that peculiarity, and that's I guess what really makes a difference for me. And then there's just music that's generic, that doesn't have that special seasoning on it, that character, that you know real producers, or I don't know what you want to call them, real artists have. Like it takes years and years to develop that taste and that way of working. And you have to have that special creativity. It's like a chef. you know I can make a fried egg, but I have a friend that's a fucking genius cooking. He's a chef, and he'll make that fucking fried egg with a sprinkle of I don't know, whatever the hell spice from Asia, and he'll put a bit of truffle, and then he'll drizzle it with a drop of
Chocolate.
whatever oil, or whale fucking I don't know, whatever, and it'll be the best fucking fried egg you'll have, and it's the same with music. Everybody can make a fried egg. Anybody can these days sample a beat or a bass, or get a sample pack and put them together and make a track. But to make something that sounds personal and different, that's the hard bit, and that's what takes years and years of experience, of training your hearing, your ear, and developing a taste. And unfortunately, in this day and age, everybody wants things now, and all of a sudden you get Instagram and 4 filters and you're a photographer. No, it takes years to develop that taste and that style and that whatever, and that, for me, that's what really makes the difference, and that's where the skill, the real skill is.
I think
Yeah,
that's why
Alex and Alex,
Oh, shut up.
Alex, we were talking about this actually today.
Yeah.
It was about identity.
Yeah, exactly.
What is it that makes people identity? We're having exactly the same conversation about your new tracks today, because you were playing me new stuff, and it was all terrible. It was awful. But
Thank you.
it was fat, mate. But it had identity, and I think everybody in this room has identity, and they've worked bloody hard for it. I think pretty much.
Years and hours being in a studio, and it kind of just happens. It's through that hard work and through making more and more and more and more and more tracks and more tracks.
Yeah.
And more, that's what I tell producers is, when they, really be, before you send a demo to a good label, be patient and make lots of music, because it's through that trial and error and that practice, and that really makes, and the hard work, and sometimes by error you make the best thing.
Oh, yeah.
You make a mistake.
Yeah. The famous happy accidents, no?
I love when that happens.
It's like
and maybe you've been there for 2 hours and nothing comes out, and then suddenly some weird shit happens and the computer goes berserk, and you're like, wow, I'm gonna bounce that before the computer shuts down or whatever.
Yeah. I love happy accidents, man. They're the best. And I think what you were saying as well, Igor, I think that part is where most people kind of give up, when they realize how much effort or how much work goes into it, and they realize, okay, I'm not going to be able to sound like I want to in 6 months or a year or 2 or maybe 5 or maybe 10. And then
passion. It's a real passion.
Yeah.
It's an obsession.
Yeah. I think obsession is even better. Yeah.
It's like a football player or a tennis player that, you know, dude, to hit or a golf player to hit those balls, like it's so much hours of practice. And like, you know, I'm watching that documentary from Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
So I feel like Kenny Powers. Kenny's cutting in right now, but Kenny's cutting in, motherfuckers. But um, Kenny Powers. No, but you know, like I'm watching that fantastic documentary about Michael Jordan and why was Michael Jordan Michael Jordan. I'm not comparing myself to him. I'm just spend time doing the same thing a lot of time and really are passionate and hardworking and really have that push, that you know, and perseverance. And you know, in the music industry, it's so much rejection. Like the hard bit is the rejection. You know, like that's one thing that I've had since I started DJing is and you know and I've wanted to quit a million times and you know that rejection just keeps on coming in and that's what you know you have to be strong to get your shit back together and start again and keep on pushing and using that rejection to give you more strength to say I want to be even fucking better and I want to show these fucking people.
yeah.
You know?
Beautiful.
Exactly.
You know, I noticed.
It's yeah. Go for it, Dan. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying. Also, what happens over years is all those other people who are trying to get somewhere and they're starving for what they want in their life. They also drop off. So your competition becomes less too, because you're gaining all that experience, and other people who they want to persist, but they just can't they don't have the capacity to actually go through all that shit and all those times when people turn you down, and it's hard, man.
It is hard.
It's a hard.
It
I've
is.
got no hair.
Yeah, but I want to add one.
Likewise.
There's the thing though, there is less competition, but then you become older and you become an old product. And even if you're a good, high quality product, promoters and the industry wants new faces. So
Hard, man.
then you encounter, you can make a number one on Beatport and you can be the best fucking producer in the world. But when you get old, you're like an old toy. People aren't as interested in you. So that's another set of problems that you have to encounter. You
Yes.
know?
Yeah. I agree, but also there's ways and smart ways to
AKAs.
overrule that, you know, because you can always make a new Elias and say, hey, I'm this. Just think about. I mean, of course, he really exploded when he was younger, but Plex, no, he was Matrix for so many years, and then he released Plex, and there was, you know, that's something that I always keep in my mind. Like, you can always start again. You can always start over. You know.
Well, we have a new AKA actually. I'm not going to say the name, but we already have like 5
it's number one on Beatport right now.
But we have an AKA with another producer, a friend of ours. He's much younger than we are, but we've basically started. Well, we have 2 more projects, pop project and a more sort of melodic, you know, more, you know, Pig&Dan is going to stay kind of for the techno sound, and our new project is going to be more the melodic sort of side of things, like Promised and you know stuff like that.
Nice.
Listen,
awesome.
back to the old products. You know, if you look at 2 of the people that started everything in a way, which was Slam and Joey Beltram. They both kind of fizzled out with age, and I think they're probably some of the best producers that ever existed, and they are incredibly important to where we've all become today. Yet Slam, I don't see really anywhere anymore, or Joey Beltram very much. I know he's just released a couple of things on Drum Code, which were really good, but I mean they are legends, man. It's a shame that age can sometimes restrict the success. I mean, you guys
I don't think it's just that then, because also the whole industry changed a lot, and actually now let's say social media and those kind of things, they play a massive role.
Well, more than the music, much more.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we can never think about that. Like if they have a new management or a different management or a team or whatever, and they want to do that, if they're willing to do that, they can always step up,
True.
and follow up. I don't think that's the thing, just being old. I think that's not an excuse at all. I think is the big challenge is to keep up with the new generations. And what do they want? Like if they want
True.
TikTok, if they want Instagram posts, if they want
Oh yeah.
lives, if they want this or that, if you want like whatever,
You do
Of
TikTok?
course, but even on Instagram and stuff, there's a certain limit to what you can do and grow. I'm sorry to say, if you don't,
Yeah.
No, of course, of
if
course.
you don't put money into it, and if you don't
Money,
put money
man.
into Instagram, it doesn't matter how many posts you do, you're not gonna reach. You have to invest into that promotion.
Oh, for sure.
Unfortunately,
Of course.
so you're also depending on the money you're making.
Of course. But there are
We're
ways
not
and
meant
ways,
to
you know.
talk.
But what I want to say is not just depending on that. I mean, they could be way more. How can I say that? More
Active.
popular right now
Yeah,
and
if
playing
they were
more
more active.
if they would do that more. That's what I
Sure.
mean. I'm not saying that it would be number one DJs right now. It's
But
not
I
that.
don't think Slam's a good. I think Slam's in another industry anyway. So
Yeah, and I don't think they
I'm gonna
want
say
that.
if Dan's
I don't
wrong
think
with
they
that
want
because
that.
Slam is more in the hard techno sort of
True.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a different industry than we are, and they have their own label and they have their own sound. So maybe
Yeah,
they're
but true,
not
when
as
we
commercial as they used to be. But I think Slam is
right.
Slam's a bad example. Joey Beltram's a better example, I would say.
Well, Slam, when we went on Soma, they were killing it at that point. They
Yeah,
were
but
playing.
they were also doing another
They
type
still
of
are.
techno.
Soma's still huge. It's still like it's a great label.
It's
It's
hard. It's
very
just hard
like
and hard
over the
underground
top.
techno.
Just a different scene than maybe drum color or something, but it's still
Cool.
like a huge thing. But
Yeah,
I
Soma is
just want to add
pretty
that I
big.
think
It's
all
great.
this thing about being old and young, there's different levels of difficulty for each generation in regards to what kind of challenges you face. If you're old, you face a certain like Victor mentioned that you need to be adjusting to like whatever is coming up next. Like it's a social media thing, if it's a different music style or whatever. But the fun part is like with age and with experience, you can take that as challenges instead of rejecting those things. You
Absolutely.
can become better.
Adapt the fuck up, motherfucker.
And when you reach that balance, that you know what you can do, being yourself, applying what you can do to what's happening, then you have an advantage in your favor if you have experience, right? I mean, you only need to know how to use it, and to be able to do that, you need to be smart, you need to be open-minded, and you need to be chill. Like if you're all those things, you can manage, and then you can always keep yourself relevant. You may not be like the super hype thing, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
No.
Because like super hype things, they peak.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, he sounds like Master Yoda, dude.
Yeah.
Wehbba,
Yeah.
you sound like Master Yoda.
No, I mean, I just want to
Master
see.
Wehbba has
Like,
spoken.
there's a lot of people that are new that are watching this, and they're like, "Oh man, fuck." So I only have like a certain amount of years I can work.
No,
and
but
then
it happens with everything. Everybody wants
Not
the
true.
new thing,
It's
So
not
you have
like
to keep
that.
on
Not at all.
reinventing yourself.
It's not at all. If you, being in the industry for 20 years, present something new, completely new tomorrow,
It's a new thing.
it's still new.
Yeah, it's a new thing. It's a new song. It's a new concept. It's a new label. It's a new whatever.
Fuck, is that what Pig&Dan did now? Wow. It's still like that.
Exactly.
You know?
I hope that.
Can we say the name, Dan, or not?
We're not meant to because no, we shouldn't. We shouldn't go. We shouldn't.
Okay.
No, we can't.
You can give hints.
Okay, we can tell you that the word the letters. We can
Letters.
The letters are it's an acronym. It's P.O.P.
Pig.
Pop.
That's the acronym. Yeah.
That's the acronym. Pop.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go. That was it.
Pig or
But that's
pine?
not the name.
Pig on passage. Pig on
Pig on.
Pig on pig.
Pig on pig.
Guys, I have a question here. EP House Hard Smith asks, what was the first track that sparked your journeys to where we are now? Everyone has that first track that was the stepping stone into the obsession of music. Do you guys remember having one?
Stacker Humanoid was mine. Stacker Humanoid was probably the first track I heard in a club, which was quite commercial at the time. I don't know if you guys even know it. It's so old.
Holy shit. I mean, I used to listen to these CDs called Transmaster. These compilations. Transmaster and Thunderdome. But I remember this track, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. Does it go?
It's a great Paper People. What a great track.
But
do you remember Paper Throw?
Yeah, Paperclip People Throw. That's what you mean.
Exactly.
Right? For me, the reality really was Energy Flash by Joey Beltram when I really fell in that whole and Positive Energy.
In that whole pill.
On that whole pill, mate.
That pill fell into your mouth. You fell into the cauldron of pills.
Yeah, look what.
Actually, I remember I used to listen to Acid House in the house.
That is so cool.
You remember that track? Acid.
Oh, of course, I know the guy did the vocal actually.
Oh wow, that looks really good, Dan. Yummy.
Yummy.
That's what you're gonna have for breakfast in about 10 years, Dan.
Just took a screenshot, just to be careful. Just to be sure.
Sorry?
I just took a screenshot just to be sure.
Just in case.
So that's where you're spending your money, huh, Dan?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
It's a solid brass.
That's solid brass.
Yeah.
You could just do that with like a normal plate and you just change it every week and that's it.
It's true, I could do, but it was, I don't know. It's a very heavy piece of art.
But at least you can kill someone with that.
Really? Is that what is that thing? What is that thing made of?
Cluedo.
It's brass, solid brass.
Really?
Hand painted, yeah.
Wow.
PCP.
They got killed with a
No,
drug
it's brass, man. This is solid brass. It's heavy as hell, mate. Heavy as hell.
Wow, that's
So
cool.
grab it by the spoon and smash someone's head with it.
Probably.
So we have some questions here, guys.
Awesome.
From a viewer, and he's saying a few things. And one of the things actually is quite an interesting question. He's asking if we, as professionals, if we struggle to get our tracks released on labels, and if sometimes we still have no feedback from labels.
Of course.
Are you kidding?
I mean, even as drum code artists, and having released on drum code, it's sometimes we've sent tracks to Adam, and he hasn't taken them. And we sent him once like 20 tracks, and we were convinced that he would take it as an album or an EP, and he did not take one single track of those. And we'd had 2 EPs on drum code already, so it's how it is. It's part of the process.
It's also part of growing, man.
It's good. It challenges the ego.
Yeah.
The Igor.
The Igor, it challenges the Igor.
Alex and Wehbba, what about you?
I mean, in a sense, in a good way, it never really ends. It just gets. I wouldn't say harder, but I mean, you kind of step up, but it hasn't changed. It still happens. I mean, you got all my friends know. Victor knows. Sometimes I'm complaining about it, like, I've sent this email. Like, why can't this person just at least listen to it? Come on, 5 minutes. But sometimes they don't have 5 minutes, and tough shit. You just take it and you'll send it somewhere else or whatever. You try again, but it's normal. Like Igor was saying, it's part of the whole deal. The rejection sometimes it is intentional, sometimes it isn't. But again, just breathe in, tough shit, take on, and move on to the next one. But yeah, it happens. Awesome.
And Webber's gonna say, I've never had a track rejected.
Yeah, right. No, but also
Douchebag.
So
No. But for real, I think rejection is actually quite good because that's what makes us good. You know,
Yeah.
like if people just tap your back and accept everything you do, you can't really improve much. You know, like
I agree.
you're peaking and you're stuck in a moment, and it's not great. So rejection, you know, like the more you get, the better you get because then you really, if you really want it, you're gonna push yourself like really to get to a different level and be heard and be I mean, sometimes it never happens, and it doesn't really matter because like you're doing it for yourself. And if it doesn't happen at all, what you want to have, like you want to achieve, whoever you want to reach, then you can always like start your own label. You can always
Yeah.
start your whole movement. You know, like
I
you
was
can
gonna say, yeah.
join some friends together and start like a collective and be proactive. You know, like this.
yeah. When are we doing that, guys?
I mean,
We're
we
doing
have
it.
a Victor.
We're doing it right now.
like if you have a platform that is working for you, you don't really need to do that.
The
But if
Caralho
you're not
Collective.
happy in a system or whatever it is in an ecosystem, then you can always try to do that and start a new engine and get new inspiration, new because you're always gonna get rejection no matter what kind of field you're at. Like, for example, if we start right now a label between the five of us,
We would do.
still gonna fight about like, oh no, we should not put these ones out.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so we're still gonna get rejection no matter on which level. You know?
Yeah,
It's always
yeah.
gonna. So it's kind of good that it happens, you know.
The funny thing is, we've all known each other since
Long enough.
things sort of went up. You know, I remember all. Well,
I remember
all
Wehbba getting drunk on tequila in Mexico. Didn't even he played the second track twice.
I was
so
kicked
fucking
out of
drunk.
the booth, man. Don't
Igor. Wait,
remind me.
No, share, bro, share.
More.
Igor played.
Wehbba.
Igor.
He was Wehbba. I called him Wehbba.
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 Igor played a track, and I mixed into it, and he mixed the same track back in.
Was it when I was Captain K or what?
Yeah. On the Polynesian boat.
Captain K.
Captain K. Oh man, amazing.
No, guys, I wanted to add one thing though. That if you don't get an answer from a label, it is a form of an answer.
It is.
It's instead of someone writing, I don't like the record, or I'm not interested, they're just not answering, it is a fucking, so just accept it as that, and that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe they did have time, but
yeah, no answer is the answer as well, of course, absolutely.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes it could be, sometimes it can't. But that's the thing, you never really know, so you move on. But I agree absolutely with what Wehbba said. I think that's very, very important. I think that the thing is how you deal with the rejection itself, because a lot of people just kind of use that input that they get to value themselves, if that makes sense. Like they estimate their own value on what people will say, and then if you get enough no's or this is shit, then you're like, well, maybe I'm not cut up for this shit, and I should just get a 9 to 5 or whatever. I don't know. And that's such a shame, because if you can take it to a good thing, transform it into a good thing, then that will help you sit your ass down and say, okay, I'm gonna fucking do this now, and I'm gonna shut everyone up.
If you fall off the horse, get back on it. Damn
exactly.
It all. You know?
Absolutely.
I have a question for you guys. I mean, not many people know that. I remember you told me that, but how did you guys meet?
Oh, that's interesting.
Igor was good.
We've said it so many times.
There must be like a
I was
on
on
the
plane.
The plane.
I was on a plane talking to somebody about playing music. Igor, I love you.
No, you were a prick, dude. Dan was a complete prick. He got it. I was sitting in the exit.
Honesty, bring us honesty.
I
Yes.
say it better than Dan. Dan says it very, diplomatically. So I'm this wannabe, I'm just like a bedroom DJ. I was in University
Garage
in London
DJ.
playing speed garage. I don't care. I like it.
I'm joking.
Dude, you know what? I'm
really
gonna
good.
when I get my vinyls in my new house, I'm gonna play speed garage at 123, and it'll probably sound great.
Yeah.
Those basses, boom, boom. Anyways, so I'm this bedroom DJ, and Dan comes in with his record bags, and I'm sitting one row behind him, and I'm like, oh, you're a DJ? And he's like, yeah, I'm a DJ. I'm going to Mallorca to smoke weed. I play really good sound. And that was it. That was end of conversation. And then
telephone numbers. We swapped telephone numbers.
No, we didn't. We didn't even fucking talk.
No. We swapped telephone numbers on the bus. And it wasn't till 2 years later. You see, he was fucking stoned. He doesn't remember that. 2 years later.
You were too.
Oh yeah, I was super stoned. A mutual friend of ours introduced us again, and we didn't remember that we'd met previously. That was the yeah, we were smoking a lot of
and we were in the studio because our friend Aaron, Aaron is the guy that called me Piggy.
Yeah.
And he used to call me Piggy because I used to love like 3 tons of mayonnaise and extra cheese on my burgers and shit. Like I was literally a pig. I still am sometimes. So he used to call me Piggy or Pig. And he suggested that me and Dan meet one day, and we met in his house, and we just started making music, and it kind of just happened. There was chemistry, it just happened, and then around 3 weeks after, like we were just sitting in the studio, and we were like, hello, Piggy. We were like, fuck, we met on that plane. And we're like, oh my God, it's true. It's destiny. It was meant to be.
It was meant to happen. And
it was great.
We did have good synergy in the studio, though.
Yes. I should go now and pillage a village now.
But I mean, how did the idea of the project come together? Did it just kind of just happen, or did you guys like one day sit down and say, okay, we got something really cool going on, let's do something,
No, it just happened. I mean, everything, even our albums, our albums are just tracks that we've made, and then we suddenly decide, okay, let's make an album, and think we have, let's say, 30 or 40 tracks in our computer, and we're like, let's take 10 that kind of would go together in an album, and that's it. That's an album. So like we're gonna use this or that. No, we always wanted to make music that we liked and use sounds that we liked. So we never thought of genres, especially at the beginning. It was more like, let's put the sounds we like. Dan came from drum and bass. I came from techno, house, progressive. I mean, I've got records there that are really I probably have Tiesto records from 25, 30 years ago, so I've listened to Goa trance,
garage,
techno, speed garage. I don't care. I'm not embarrassed.
I like speed garage,
dude. Speed garage is slow drum and bass, so fuck off.
It is. It's just skippy. It's skippy.
You just hate it. It's skippy. Yeah, exactly.
And it was where everybody used
I'm not embarrassed. I'm more embarrassed
about champagne, man.
About this, dude. I even have like LL Cool J vinyls, dude.
Oh, that's cool.
LL Cool J when I was 14.
Mama said, knock you out.
That track they used to go bum 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 bum, rough like a ninja, stinging like a bee. Do you remember that one?
Mate, that's my
or Blue Boy or whatever. I think it's whatever. Music is music.
It is, absolutely.
It's like food. You can there's good Italian, there's bad Italian, there's good Japanese, there's bad Japanese, there's good music, there's bad music.
I agree.
We are shit.
Huh?
And
then there's speed garage, which is crap.
Speed garage.
All of it is crap.
So Webster, are you watching porn?
Yeah, always.
There's a lot of movement on your face, mate. There's like
I'm navigating through the pages to see if there's any questions.
There is a question on my page, which I was just waiting for it to happen because it was.
How many people are watching? Like 2 people?
92.
Wow, let's make it to 100. Come on.
Yes, call your grandmothers and your aunts, everyone to get online.
Wait, my cat's here.
Yeah, the cat. So 93 now. give your cat a cell phone.
Cats count too.
I've got three cats.
There you go. So we're almost to 100 now if we include all of them. But the question on my page goes about kick and bass, which is a very common question that we always get. How do you guys go about it? I mean, is there... when doing your kicks and basses, how do you guys go about it? Do you guys usually do layerings? Do you use synths, plugins you like to use? Anything enlighten us in your kick and bass techniques?
Or maybe you steal from someone.
Or maybe that as well. That will be fine as well.
Wehbba kick and
always falls into me.
Well, sometimes you do it though. Sometimes we actually, it's a good way of starting a track to just, if you don't want to work on the kick and the bass at the beginning, it's a great thing to sample a kick that sounds good, so the rest of your track is gonna sound good.
Yeah, I mean, often we change the kick anyway a number of times, and especially just even at the last moment. Usually there's probably 2 or 3 kicks in a track, because we'll use the subs from one and the low mids from another, and maybe the kind of click or
it's a Franken kick.
Yeah.
So you guys do a lot of layering then as well?
We do a lot of layering, and with the basses, I think it all depends. I mean, come on, we've got quite a wide spread of different genres. So, you know, some of the melodic basses are completely different to how you would treat a bass that's just a rumble.
Drum code kick.
Drum code, bass and kick, which is, you know...
Those are the hardest.
Fucking with reverbs and, you know, mashing up. How many different distortion plugins I've got? It's like, I don't know, you know...
Do you have one favorite, since we're already talking about distortions?
Oh yeah, Newfangled Audio, man. Are you guys on that? You guys?
No, I'm not on it.
Newfangled Audio. It's a great name, isn't it? Newfangled Audio.
Yeah, you told me that.
I love they've got amazing distortion and in fact, all their plugins are sick, man. I love the transient designers they have and everything. It's amazing.
Dan, you're not getting paid for this, so don't.
I'm not.
I see they have a plugin called Elevate. What a nice coincidence.
They do. And you know what? It's really good.
That is cool.
It's like a mastering plugin, but with saturation, and it is fat, mate. Are you not on that, Webster, mate? What's going on?
I'm not on it as well. I have to.
I really like it, so I got put off by the queue, and then didn't try the rest.
Since
but now that you tried it, I'll have a look.
The saturator is like so warm. When you put that on a kick or a bass, it really has something. Really has something. For me, anyway.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, since you touched on the bass, one of the questions I have as well is, do you guys master your own tracks, or does the label do that?
We get them mastered from the people we believe in, and then give them to the labels.
Okay.
I think that's really necessary these days, because if you don't have control over the end product, I think it's not your product 100%.
I agree.
Product.
Yeah.
I think you guys are the same. I mean, you know, sometimes we get 3 different mastering engineers. What's that noise?
Not sure. Yeah, someone has their sound on, or maybe I don't know.
We've got a cross line.
Okay, better now.
It's big.
Yeah, Igor was watching something.
Yeah.
He was watching porn.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
I heard something about some.
All this nerd talk is just I have to go on porn.
I heard something about some plumbing needing replacement, I think, or something like that.
Plugins or plumbing?
Plumbings.
Such, where were we? I've lost where we were, man.
No, we were talking about mastering, and you said that you guys have your go-to guys that are the guys that do all of your masterings, and then you.
Yeah, the funny thing is we use a few different ones. Like we did just some collaborations with Victor. I don't know where I'm pointing at where he is, but on my screen it's over there.
You can to the left.
Yeah, here.
Sorry, Victor.
There.
I did mastering with Victor. Sorry, we did some collaborations with Victor. Where is that voice coming from?
I'm not sure.
So Dan, you're hearing voices again, bro. Like, stop.
Amazing. I think it's
Dan is
because
like the guy
my
from the
voice is
Sixth Element or the Sixth Sense or whatever.
Did you take your
hear
meds?
frequencies that nobody else does.
Hello?
Stop talking to fucking imaginary friends, dude.
Yeah, man. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. The collaboration we did, we got mastered by 3 different people. And the funny thing is, one of the tracks we liked one mastering engineer and one the other. It's an expensive hobby, but it's worth it.
Expensive hobby.
It is.
True. Very true.
Oh, Igor's venturing inside.
Yes.
Igor is working out while we do this. So that's a private thing.
There you go. Easy.
No. Look, he really looks like Lemmy now, mate. Check it out.
Where's the hat?
The hat? I don't know what hat. The hat.
You know, when I used to help my mother in a hotel. She had a hotel just for sort of pop and rock stars back in London. And I helped Lemmy with his bags. When I got up, he goes, "Do you want a tip or a line of Coke?" I was like, I won't say what I said.
What did you go for?
I stayed there
Not see the tip.
3 fucking hours, mate, talking shit with him. It was brilliant.
And
The guy was a legend, no?
that line turned into gram.
A rather large.
Wow, that must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was good. Good times, mate. Good times.
Have you guys been to LA to his the bar that he used to go?
No.
At what was the name?
Have you?
What?
Have you?
Yeah, of course. It's awesome.
Really?
They even have like a Lemmy statue there.
Lemming? Lemmy or Lemming?
Lemmy.
Lemmy is alive.
I know. I
Lennon.
know. I'm playing around with words, dude. Lemming, Lemmy.
No, Lennon.
Lennon.
Lennon, John Lennon.
We've gone onto Russian dictators now. Or what?
No, John Lennon.
John Lennon, the Russian Beatle.
Okay.
So tell
John
me,
Lennon. That could be a great name for an artist. John Lennon.
John Lennon. Yeah, that would be a cool name.
Yeah.
Good idea. We're gonna put the name of my band as John Lennon.
John Lennon.
It's a good idea.
Yes.
I'm gonna put some-
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, mate.
Your new AKA, Victor.
Can I ask you guys what you use on your kicks and your basses?
Absolutely.
Extra butter.
Sausage fattener.
Oh, really? You still use that?
No, I'm just kidding.
That was great plug-in, though. You remember that? That was such a beat.
Dude, that was a funny plug-in. No, I mean I do a lot of layering as well. But I try to do I try to do as little as possible. Like I try not to get caught up. It is really easy to get caught up stacking a bunch of shit on each other, you know what I mean? And so I just try to stay as clean as possible, just mix everything so it sounds nice and in place. And then usually for the bass, I usually will do a rumble from the kick that I'm using. You know, the classical.
What, you just side chain it?
Yeah, I will like take all of the attack off, then EQ it again. I will EQ both the kick and the bass so they're not in the same frequency. So I will duck whatever frequency is the biggest harmonic in the bass on the kick, so they kind of can breathe into each other. And that's it, basically. I mean, a lot of people that ask me think that there's like this huge process, 9 different plugins that you put on top of each other, and sometimes just getting this, I think the sound, picking the right sounds is detrimental. You know, it's really hard to polish a turd. You can sometimes, but if you get that, you know, that right low end and that right medium and that right click sound, and you just kind of smush them together in the best way, then there's actually no processing necessary, almost, in my case at least.
Well, did you say polish a turd?
Polish a turd, yes, I said that.
Polish a turd.
Polish a turd. that's
yeah.
good.
One of the things we do as well is we'll tune a kick down so it's not conflicting with the bass. You're doing it with frequency. But sometimes we tune.
That's interesting.
You actually, our kicks are sometimes very, very low, low versions of kicks. They're tuned right down. Sometimes those 7 semitones down,
Wow.
right down, man. Get it down, sunshine.
Down and gritty.
Webber's face is like, oh, 7?
7? That sounds like
That is a
witchcraft.
lot, man. 7 is a lot.
That is. I know. I'm just saying. I mean, honestly, there's a good question there. What kind of magical pitch shifter plugin do you use where you can go down like so much without losing?
You can do it in Logic. If you do it in Logic, you can do it naturally. So.
You mean just by the left little window where you have transpose? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one way. The other thing is to use the pitch shifter from Waves. I think it's.
Yeah, that's the one I use as well.
The sound pitcher.
Yeah, sound
And how do
pitcher.
you do your kicks, Webster?
Well, it's a number of things.
Your bass and kick.
The frequency is really important. I would really like to tune the kick differently from the bass or something, so that it won't crash into each other.
Do you use a spectrum analyzer?
Not really, no. Just so you.
I always have a spectrum analyzer on. Always.
I don't do that anymore because I was tricked by it so many times. Also, I just decided to stop using it.
Well, you know why our records sound so bad then.
Yes, that explains a lot.
I mean, each and every one has their workflow. You know, like it can for some people, for some other people, it just doesn't. And I mean, I tried it both ways, and it just stopped working for me. Before, when I used to have the RME sound card and I used to have the DigiCheck, that was kind of okay to work with. But
That's what I have
then,
here.
I tried different spectrum analyzers from different brands, and I'm never super happy with any of them. So I mean, for the overall picture of the thing, it's fine, but not for the kick and bass.
Okay.
But what I do, this plugin that as a new plugin I've been using, which is pretty cool. It's called Track Spacer from Waves Factory. It's kind of like a spectral sidechain.
Yeah.
And you can limit the bandwidth of the sidechain. You cannot really limit how much it ducks, like the attack or release of this kind of settings. It has its own automatic settings. It's related to the dynamics of the incoming signal. So
what's it called? Spectral what?
Track spacer.
The plugin is called Track Spacer. Track Spacer, one word.
I'm gonna check that out, man.
And the manufacturing is Waves Factory. And it's a really cool thing, but because you can sidechain most things in your mix, and without getting the pumping sidechain effect, because it can limit the frequency range you want to.
That's brilliant.
Working upon.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Light, it doesn't really affect the sound at all. It's pretty cool. And that's another massive trick for kick drum that I use. I mentioned that before when we spoke about it in a different episode. The saturation. So saturation to give the harmonics on the kick drum.
I'm
no
a
matter what
madman.
saturation plugin you have, just do that, and you get punch. You get the kick to punch through the mix, and you still get the low end, and you can make it fit with the saturation.
You know the camel crusher, you guys.
You always speak about that thing, but I cannot get it to work anymore. Does it still?
It's over.
It's over, right?
Yeah.
I have it. It's still working on my Mac. Actually, I don't know why, but when I bought a new Mac and I backed it up, the whole Mac, and I sort of put it over to the new Mac, somehow that plugin stayed with me.
Wow, I remember. It's the golden one, right?
Like
No.
herpes, though, Stan?
Like herpes.
Like herpes.
Like herpes.
It's like herpes. It never goes. It stays with you.
The camel toe.
The
Victor, what about your kicks and bass, mate? Come on, let us in. Victor,
What?
Victor, what about your kicks?
Please sample Pig&Dan's tracks.
Boom.
Bam! No, seriously, no. Apart from that, it's basically what Alex said, kind of in a way. I sometimes like to, I work with samples many times, and when I want to make that rumble, of course layering, but when I make like a nice rumble, I try to find like long kicks and I just cut like in Logic, just make like a fade in, and I EQ, I saturate, then that's it. And there's no much of a true. Of course, I pay attention, but also like Wehbba said, there's no much conflict. It's always go by ears. I mean, when I remember the first time that I thought about to like check the tone of my kick if I cannot hear, because some of the kicks you find they have a determined tone, let's say, is very easy to recognize when you play. Uh, if you cannot find, I remember first time I sit in the studio with Wehbba actually. He did that. So like, hey, let's do that. Like I was like, why? It's like, yeah, but after it's easier to for you to match the kick with the bass.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, that's a pretty good idea. You know, but I don't. I have to be really honest. I almost never do it. I learned that with him, but I'm still very negligent. And
Lazy.
yeah,
I'm like you, Victor. I'm like you, Victor. I just kind of do it, and it sounds good, and that's it.
Exactly, and I think in the end of the day,
You know?
you if you can
I'm
rely
not
on your
I'm not as
ears.
scientific as you guys. I use Logic, and I put it on my sounds, and if it sounds good, that's it.
you
and
just
then,
drop sounds
and then
there and you
I'm
hope
very
it
lucky
works.
that Dan is much more of an engineer than I am. And you know, he gives our tracks the finishing touches, of course. He you know, I mean, I can master a track, I can mix down, but I'm not as technical as you guys. I just do whatever sounds good to me, and it kind of works, right, Dan? I mean,
Absolutely.
Totally.
it's piggy chaos, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I
I
have a
remember
question for you
hey,
guys.
I just go
What?
like this.
What's
I
that,
have
Victor?
I have a question for you guys. I mean, first of all, I'm a big fan of your music, as you guys know already, and you always have this in all of your tracks, these specific melodies that they have like a very crisp sound in a way, very airy but very crisp. How do you do that?
A lot of bit crushing.
Ooh.
Combina.
Combinat is one of the most.
Yeah, I started using that because of you. You told me that in
Igor,
both of our
Igor is
tracks.
like Igor has. When I get a track
I love
from
it.
Igor, there's a combinat in every channel. The hi hat.
Guys too.
No, it's really good, but it's really good.
It's really good. It's insane.
I love the combinat.
I have
Nick,
to.
you've
I'm
got
gonna
it.
have to. I'm gonna have to buy that. It's the multiband the thing, multiband distortion, right?
Yeah, Webster, you've ever used it, or you're gonna say you don't like it?
Oh, no, never tried it.
You never used combinat?
No, well,
It's
try it
amazing.
today.
And
That's
that reverb,
awesome.
what's it called? The reverb? The
EOS.
reverb is
EOS.
the EOS reverb is fantastic.
The EOS reverb.
I guys, I have a question here that I got asked actually yesterday. I opened Instagram for questions and I got a bunch of them here, and I have someone asked the same thing there, and I think it's a very, I mean it's very basic, but most people don't get it. So what, and I think that's your case as well, Pig, at least in your old studio. How do you mix down, or how do you go about mixing down something when you have an untreated room?
I use headphones.
Yes, that's what I would say as well. I know that's why I said it's pretty basic, because
Well, you can always,
for us it makes all the sense in the world. You use headphones. You have reliable
yeah, but you can
reference.
treat the room. Just treat the room. You can be creative, and if you don't have the right stuff, you can always put, you know, curtains on or hang drapes. I mean, I used to have a studio with drapes hanging from my ceiling. You know, do you remember that one?
Yeah,
That
of course. Yeah,
it
of
looked like a
course.
fucking
Yeah, I have a mattress here as well. That was actually something that I copied from our friend here, Wehbba, which also has techno mattresses, I think, in his studio, which serve the purpose. So you know.
I do. I cannot show, unfortunately, but yeah, it's
No.
mattress all over.
It's also getting used to what you have. Right?
Yes.
I mean, we did an album called Destination Unknown, and most of that was mixed on a creative pair of speakers for PCs. You
Wow.
know, little subwoofer,
Yeah.
2 tiny little satellite.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. That, like, I would say 80% of that album was mixed on that, and the mastering engineer was like Oh shit. But it's not. It is what you do with it. It's not what you have, and it's what you're used to. You know, if you don't have the budget, it doesn't mean you can make a great sounding record.
No,
Absolutely.
you can write a track with plugins, man. There's so many
Yeah.
good synths in digital plugins these days. You don't even need synths, outdoor synths.
Don't worry about synths, mate. You lost it.
This is also actually this answers another question that someone asked me here, which is it possible to achieve good quality sounds with little resources? And yeah, of course, absolutely. I mean, there's a bunch of
It's what you said. It's how you spice it.
exactly,
Come on, man.
exactly. I mean, you don't
It's
you
the idea. It's
You
the
don't
idea.
have 6 move ones, and I've seen people with the best studios make the worst music.
No,
Yeah,
dude. I mean, it can be it can even be a bad thing to have too much equipment.
oh yeah,
Because
you lose focus.
Yeah.
you lose focus, and at the end, you're like, you got all these synths around you, and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna just write something on my Mac with my Juno, my inboard, my inside plugins. Sometimes it's much faster.
Roland Cloud is sick. I love it, mate.
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to get into that as well. Are you guys enjoying that? Is any Victor Wehbba, are you guys using that as well?
About what, sorry?
The Roland Cloud.
Listen, man, we use.
I don't know what is that.
It's
I
it's
use
like the
Roland
Roland
Cloud a lot.
synths on a cloud.
Hold up, Victor, man, where have you been?
He sleeps in a cave.
Okay, Roland Cloud is all the synths, the 303s, the 909, all the drum machines.
Jupiter.
Everything. But they sound authentic, man. I mean, for me, they do. Webber's looking a little bit worried about this comment. But, I can tell you, I honestly love the sound of their drum machines and some of their
Roland's Cloud.
Yeah, the 101 is ridiculous, man. I mean,
That
the
was my
warmth.
favorite of them, actually. I tried it out quickly, and I think it sounds really thin.
No, well, look, all right, I'll give you an example. Tunnel Vision, it was one of the tracks we just put out in Drum Code. There's a 303 in it from the Rolling Cloud. And said, how come it's so, it's quite a warm sounding 303. And Webber, you got to listen to it, man.
I did.
Oh, you did? Is it warm?
It sounds great, but it's in if it's in the mix. But did you use the 303 or the 101?
303.
No, the 303 I didn't really check. I was just speaking about 101.
It's fucking
101 I didn't really like.
Well,
101 is very tricky, right? I think there's no. I mean,
here it's like a plug-in in a box, and it sounds pretty authentic to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you told me I was supposed to buy one of those because you told me that, but I really saw so many people comparing. I'm gonna buy it because.
But you have a 101, the original one.
Yeah, I do. I wanted to have another one. That's the thing.
Oh, okay. One of each color.
You used to have the
101 is it's one of the most essential pieces of the
It is.
Yeah,
It is such a useful synth as well.
Yeah.
You can use it for anything.
Do you use it? Igor?
No.
I don't either.
I don't even know what the 101 is, dude. Is it a dildo or something?
It is. It is. It's it's a 10 centimeter dildo for beginners. So that's why it's called the 101. But the SH. Come on, dude. You know the Everyone knows the SH 101, probably at least.
Come on, Igor.
Ah, the SH 101, of course.
Yes.
I actually had a real one, but I sold it because I can use the Roland one is much better.
What?
Yeah, man. Listen, guys. I need to try the Rolling Cloud now. Not paying me. I don't give a shit, mate. I'm telling you the truth, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So look, I'm shiny now.
I'm gonna have the 30 days trial to see.
The 30-day trial. There you go. There you go. Then we can talk about it in a future episode and see what you think about it.
Yeah.
Do you? I have another question here. It was from earlier on, but I'm gonna assume that yes. But do you guys listen to all the demos you get for Elevate? Because that question was because we were talking about the demos from before, and then someone said, "Do you guys listen to everything you get sent?"
No, no, we don't. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't.
It depends on our schedule, man. Oh, flipping it! Finally.
Finally, there we go. Okay. Oh, I have to participate.
Your
Okay.
glasses, mate.
Why doesn't it doesn't work like that? I'm not. I can't see anything.
Stop being such techno.
Cornolio. Where's Cornolio, Wehbba? The great Cornolio.
Techno pussy. You remember that one, Igor?
Yeah,
Igor.
techno pussy.
There were these guys who were called Techno Posse, and we used to call them Techno Pussy, and they were so upset when we were wearing their t-shirts. Take no pussy.
Take no pussy.
I take no.
I can't see shit through.
Yeah, it doesn't work when it's upside down. I don't know why. I can't see
No, it
shit
doesn't.
as well.
Well, you always learn something helpful every day.
Guys, I'm very happy that finally we've got Wehbba with glasses on.
Yes, and doing the Cornolio. Yes, he needs he needs TP for his bang hole. Please, someone. We're gonna drop a link for you to donate TP for us.
To tour managers.
Yeah, we don't. No. Exactly.
We don't have tour managers, by the way.
You
No,
don't have to donate shit.
no, I don't.
I actually might need to have one live act, but
Yeah, dude, that is gonna. By the way,
Yeah,
the
already asked for money, but then you can have no.
by the way, the short film is really cool, man.
The live act.
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
I've seen it once and I thought it was great. At Fabric when you guys did the Odyssey thing, you got it much more or.
Well, we did one more in San Diego. We did a live set. I mean, it comes up, and you know, it's one of those things that it's not as common to go out and play live as DJing as it, Igor. I mean, it's very rare that we do.
I mean,